Hi, I'm Patsy Clairmont, and I'm a boomer.
And I'm Andrew Greer, and I'm a millennial.
And we're starting a new podcast, and it's called Bridges.
That's right. Spiritual connections through generational conversations, which this conversation right here is by nature generational.
Absolutely, because you're very young, and I'm mature.
And experienced and wise.
Well, we'll see. Here is the thing about what we're doing is it fits for us.
Mm-hmm.
We just speak on the same kind of terms mostly.
That's right.
Now, there are occasions where we don't understand each other at all, but generally speaking, we love books, we love music, we love Jesus, and we agree on those things, but then there's
Other
peripheral.
things. Yes, I think what we learned when we became friends, one of the first things we learned is how much we had in common, which I think in the culture we live in today, in the society we live in, that it is important to find things that we have in common. And I think oftentimes we think in generation, where there's a generation gap, we even use that word gap.
Yeah.
We think that there is a bridge that cannot be crossed, but we have found there are more natural bridges than ones that we even have to work hard to build. It's very natural to be Patsy's friend. I feel like our brains are the same.
Well, we certainly track along to a certain point, and then your brain goes somewhere else, and mine visits outer space. But listen, I think your mother and dad prepared you for a generational outlook.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy for you to go in and out of a child's life, of a well-seasoned life, out of a in-between life. You come into our home and we are a generational family.
That's right.
Because under our roof there are, well, my husband and I were the seasoned travelers. And then there's my son, his wife, our two grand boys, one's in high school, one's in college, and we have a friend who lives with us, and we have two dogs to keep it really interesting. But you know about my dog.
I do know about your dog, who is not as interested in crossing the bridge over to my side, but I do love your house that's full. My house is quiet. It is me, and I appreciate the difference. And I think that's part of it, is that there's a contrast. And so there's a time to be quiet and contemplative, and there's a time to be rambunctious and rowdy, and there's a time to be accountable in the space of other people, and there's a time to be accountable alone. So I think when we interact with different generations, different households, different people from different walks of life, our perspective grows and it broadens. And that's what brings us to this podcast, because as we have guests on, they also bring their different perspectives. I would say our guests have helped us already expand our horizons.
Absolutely, and they come in all ages and all interests. They have lots of different lifestyles as far as where God has placed them to make an impact and influence. And I think our audience is going to love the guests we have on.
I hope so. And we talk about a lot of topics, everything from creative living, and how to implement creativity into your lifestyles, even cooking, which is something I do less of, and you say you do more of. And then
No, I don't claim to do more of. I observe a lot of what's done in my household.
That's right. And we also get into topics that are more difficult. We both have had difficult journeys and pathways with fear and with depression and anxiety, some of those things that are becoming more a cultural norm than a unique to certain people. And so we want to address those.
When you say cultural norm, when I first struggled with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, nobody was talking about it, so I thought I was the only one. And what a curtain went up as time went on, and topics got safe to speak about in public, even addressing the issues of, is it all right to take medication? And I say, God bless that pill and pop it if you need it, because Jesus makes provision for those of us that are very fragile.
That's right, and we hope this podcast is a certain sort of pill for your ears, one that will help bring you closer, not only to God, but to the people around you, and also help you learn more about yourself. So I'm very excited about Bridges. I'm very honored to be a part of Bridges. I'm glad you would ask.
I am honored to be a part of Bridges because I love working with you and I love offering hope.
So don't forget to check it out. You can find it anywhere you listen to audio podcasts. That may be on your phone, on Apple Podcasts, or Spotify has a great podcast app, or Podbean, or wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, you can find Bridges.
He taught funny.
So,
Moonbeam and a pod.
Podbean, yeah, that's what it is.
Anyway.
So you can find it, even if Patsy cannot. I'm going to teach her how to find her own podcast today. Just hit subscribe, and every week we'll have an entirely new episode for about 20 weeks. So we've got a full first season for you, and we're excited that you're coming along.
And we want you to join